Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea. This is Nico, my cat who apparently is the most neglected baby in the world who would like to make an appearance in my video today. I'm 24 years old, he's 6, and I am a sandwich artist at a local shop, as well as a student learning to become a teacher and a sociologist because I enjoy them both. He likes naps, wet food, and lots of attention, as you can see. Now, come on, go down. Now, COVID's caused us all to be quarantined in our own homes, lockdowns, being away from people we would normally hang out with on a daily basis. So today, we're going to talk about something that's ingrained in our daily lives now more than ever. Music. Specifically, those who make music, musicians. While we're inside, we're playing a lot more video games, watching a lot more TV, movies, even music videos, etc. Or even just listening to music itself. But musicians are a part of every single one of those. You need a musician to make the music that you hear. Whether it's just to enhance the mood, if you're watching a horror flick, so it gets very intense very quickly, or it's a musical. Still, musician. Every musician has a job to make music that fits the time and the theme of the movie. So, today I'm going to talk to you about two different types of musicians. One, who is a famed singer slash musician who plays his own music that he wrote many years coming. He has a very long career as a musician. He's played in many arenas, stages, even starting just in bars as a teenager. His name is Ed Sheeran. You've probably been to one of his concerts, or you've seen him on different award shows playing songs. Or maybe you've just heard one of his songs on the radio, one of his many, many popular hit singles. The other person I'm going to talk to you about today is Rebecca Sugar. They make music for TV shows, specifically the TV show that they helped create called Steven Universe. Well, not helped create, it is their show. But they also wrote a few songs for a popular show called Adventure Time that they worked on before. Both of these people are known for their music. Ed Sheeran, more so for being on the stage singing and playing it. Rebecca Sugar, more so for the other people who sing their songs, but they wrote them for the show because it makes sense for it. Now, let's get back to Ed Sheeran. Now, Ed Sheeran was born on February 17th, 1991 in Halifax, West Yorkshire, which is in the UK. He started playing his guitar when he was very, very young. But even before the guitar, he showed promise as a musical child when he was singing in his local church choir at the young age of 4. But when he was 11, he met a singer/songwriter named Damien Rice backstage at one of his concerts. Or shows, I should say. And young Ed Sheeran was inspired by that man because Rice had told him that he needed to write his own music. And from then on, Ed Sheeran only ever wrote his own things. Though he also did write songs for other artists as well. But it wasn't long after that until Ed Sheeran was recording his own CDs, producing them, and then selling them. He put together his first EP, which is like it's like a taste of the artist. It's only a couple songs that they've done to show their promise, to show what they can do in terms of their music. Now, his first official EP was called The Orange Room. He was only 14 years old when he did this. And because of how popular it became, just that little EP, he chose to move to London to pursue his music for the summer. So he started playing a bunch of little gigs, whether it was at bars or just a bunch of little things that would pay the bills. He would sleep on couches. It's not glamorous when you're starting out. He didn't have all the money in the world, fancy flights, anything. He went from couch to couch, renting a room for a night, anything. Cheap food, cheap drinks. He made it work because music was his passion. Now, he started playing a local singer-songwriter circuit of sorts, where most people go like a circuit, like one stop to the next, because that was like a way that a lot of people had played music in the past. You would know that they played here, then the next a week later they're playing here, 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 and here, because that's where a couple of artists had done their circuit, their starting areas too, so people can plan to come and watch them. Now, he quickly after that, about a year or two later, so when he was about 15 or 16, he released 2 more albums. Now, the first one was a self-titled album, and in about 2000, this was like 2006, so yeah, and then he released one called Want Some in 2007. He began opening for some very, very established acts. Being an opener to a show is how bigger artists help smaller artists gain a fan base as well as more acclaim, to let them practice their skills on a bigger stage, as well as get people who also know the bigger artists to see the littler artists, and maybe get them some record deals, or maybe there's radio hosts in the audience that maybe want to have them come on the show to have the songs be played on the radio. You never know. It helps their promotion per se. Once again, Nico decided he wants to say hello. Nico really likes music. The music of his claws on my chair. He makes music with his purrs. Hello, sweet one. He just got fed before, so he's very, very loving right now. Well, he got fed his wet food. He has dry food throughout the day, but he really likes his wet food. That's like a special treat for him, isn't it, Nico? Now, as I was saying, he opened for more established acts such as Nizlopi. If I pronounce any of these wrong, I apologize. But Nizlopi, the Noisettes, and Jay-Sheen. And then he released another EP called You Need Me in 2009. And in that year, he played more than 300 live shows. Now remember, at this time, he had no manager, no record deal, no label backing him or anything. He is 100% a solo act. So, in 2010, became like a big year for Ed Sheeran because social media became a huge part of his career. He learned how to use social media very, very well. He posted a video online and it got the attention of Example, a well-known rapper at the time. Example asked Sheeran to go on the road with him as his opening act. This led him to even larger online fan base because Example had such a large fan base himself, and songs were anything that was posted was shared by hundreds and thousands of people. And because of this, there was so much more inspiration for his songs. And he ended up filling 3 more EPs, all in just 2010. Now, that year was also huge because in that same year, Ed Sheeran came to the United States. He found a new fan in Jamie Foxx, who Sheeran had bumped into his manager just one night somewhere, and the manager said, "Hey, you want to come on the show?" And after Jamie Foxx talking to Ed Sheeran for a while and talking about a lot of different things in life, Jamie Foxx offered his couch up to Ed Sheeran, who had been couch surfing from house to house for a few months at the time. Soon after that, in 2011, early 2011, Ed Sheeran released yet another EP, his last as an independent artist, without any promotion at all. That means there was no commercials about it, no billboards, no posters, nothing. This EP reached #2 on the iTunes chart, which was before Billboard's Top 100. This was iTunes chart was huge. So at the time, after that, he signed on with Atlantic Records within the same month of that hitting #2. Now, with Atlantic, Sheeran released his major debut studio album. A studio album is when you have a studio backing you. So you write the music, it gets produced professionally by professional people, and gets all the promotion, all the fancy things. This album was titled Plus, so like a plus sign. It was an instant hit. The album sold more than 1 million copies in the US and the UK. Sorry, not just the US, just the UK alone in just 6 months. So soon, Ed Sheeran began co-writing songs with bigger artists, such as One Direction and Taylor Swift, and even supported Taylor Swift on her 2013 arena tour. Now, while on a roll of all this success and all these other really big popular artists that Ed Sheeran is collaborating with and known for being near, Ed Sheeran would now write his next big hit called I See Fire, which was actually featured in the movie The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. And it was a really good song, and it really, really fit the movie. What was it? I've seen a few different songs be featured in movies, like 5 Seconds of Summer's, wow. Do you ever have that moment where the words completely leave your mind? And I just remember the song, When Girls Talk Boys. That was featured in the remake of Ghostbusters. Some songs are written for movies. Other songs are written, and movie producers and other such, or sound engineers, think that song would fit the movie really well, and they have to get the rights to it. But back to it. In that same album, it was called X Multiply. He had a few songs that hit #1 in the UK. The project featured top 10 singles. That album, 10 singles became #1 hits. A few of them being Don't Win My Love, That Heart Is So Cold, which rumor has it that was written about Ellie Goulding cheating on Ed with Niall Horan. Photograph, I Keep These Memories in a Photograph, which is a very, very sweet music video. If you haven't seen it, I recommend looking it up. And Thinking Out Loud. Thinking Out Loud actually won him a Grammy for Song of the Year and Best Pop Solo Performance in 2016. Now, in 2016, Ed Sheeran also took a hiatus. Sometimes you just need a little break. There are a lot of things were going on. Very successful, but artists still need to breathe. So he took a hiatus to work on his 3rd studio album, Divide, the division symbol, dot, line, dot. In 2017, he released 2 singles from the album. One of them I still hear on the radio today, called Shape of You. I'm in Love with the Shape of You. You know the song. And Castle on the Hill, which both debuted at #1 and #6, respectively, on the Billboard Hot 100s. Ed Sheeran subsequently released Divide in March of 2017 and announced his world tour. His new album broke a Spotify record for first day album streams with 56.7 million listens in 24 hours. 56.7 million in 24 hours. I need to do the math. How many 56.7 divided by 24 is what? Let's see. How many listens is that per hour? That means every hour, that is 2,362,500 listens every hour. What is that in minutes? Now I want to know. That's 39,375 listens every single minute. That's insane. This man has so much talent in him. Now, in late 2017, he released another hit with the love song Perfect. And my cat decided he needed a box. Come on. Why are you going to mess with my stuff? And he released this with a joint effort of Beyonce, Queen Bee as most of you call her. And it was titled The Perfect Duet. The original version hit #1 on the Billboard Pop Songs and Adult Pop Songs charts in mid-January 2018. Later in that month, Ed Sheeran added to his Grammy haul by winning another Best Pop Solo Performance for Shape of You and Best Pop Vocal for the album Divide. You are adorable. You just want all the attention of the people here. Now, in May 2019, Ed Sheeran decided he was going to just do a bunch of collabs. Just a bunch of collabs and see how many could be successful. Sometimes it was to be either successful or just he wanted to make music with his friends. He made a lot of friends that happened to be celebrities when he became famous too. Isn't that funny? Now, the song that he collabed with Justin Bieber, I Don't Care, which was the first single from Ed Sheeran's upcoming studio album titled Number 6 Collaborations Project. It was an immediate success. I Don't Care established a new single-day streaming record for Spotify. And then he released another hit called Cross Me with Chance the Rapper, Beautiful People featuring Khalid, and oh my gosh, it had 8 singles on it that became #1 hits before picking up a Grammy, or at least a Grammy a nomination for Best Pop Vocal Album. And Ed Sheeran was also in a few films. When you're a musician, sometimes you're wanted in certain films because just the look of you in there allows for it. People want to come see you in it. Like one of the movies was Bridget Jones' Baby in 2016 and the Beatles-inspired musical Yesterday in 2019. I found that movie hilarious based on Ed Sheeran's... Just Ed Sheeran was funny in that movie, and it was great to see Ed Sheeran take a nod at or at least talk about the Beatles, because they are a very widely known band from when our parents were teens. Most of our parents were teens. He also landed a recurring role in the FX series the Executioner, and later appeared in an episode of Game of Thrones. I remember that episode, and it was funny watching him talk with Arya. He also appeared in the Amazon anthology series Modern Love. Though there are times where Ed Sheeran was claimed to have stolen music or songs, inspiration is something we can all do, enjoy, and see. Once again, you're inspired for more scratches. So he was inspired by certain songs, but other people thought he stole more than just inspiration, so they tried suing him for copyright infringement. Things were settled out of court. Now, Ed Sheeran is someone who writes his own music, sings it, plays it, writes for others. But now let's talk about someone who's not as famous as him in terms of selling out arena tours every year. So now let's talk about Rebecca Sugar. Rebecca Sugar is less known for their ability to sell out arena tours and more known for the shows that they worked on. Like I said previously, Adventure Time and Steven Universe. And there's actually a movie that they worked on as well called Hotel Transylvania. Now, Rebecca Sugar plays a few different instruments, but the one that they are most known for playing is the ukulele, something they picked up when they were a kid because they thought it would be fun. Rebecca used this for their main character when Steven, for the show Steven Universe, when Steven was young, learned how to play the ukulele while the character's father, Greg, played the guitar. It was a way for the two to bond over music as Steven grew up. Steven would be the one to write the theme song for the show that is the opening theme. We are the Crystal Gems. We'll always save the day. And even if you think we can't, we'll always find a way. There's a video of him that was used actually for multiple artists to animate that opening sequence, which was really fun and sweet for Rebecca to give the rights to the song for them to use and of their characters to use in that, because it was a fun collaboration project. Rebecca pulls inspiration from many different aspects of their life, from when they were a little kid to wow, cat hair in my eye. From when they were a young kid to when they are an adult now. They were only about 20 years old when this show started. Which, hey, I'm 24. They have so much skill in them, I could have never achieved that. But that's just me. I'm not meant to be a show writer or a musician. My calling is to be a teacher. Now, anyway, Rebecca Sugar. Rebecca Sugar was born on July 9th in 1987 in Silver Spring, Maryland. I've heard a few stories of friends from Maryland, and Rebecca definitely had an interesting life depending on where they grew up in Maryland. You know, everyone has an interesting life where they grew up. Everyone's life is different. Now, Rebecca Sugar, once again, worked on Adventure Time. During part of Adventure Time, they were unable to keep working on Adventure Time while having the production for Steven Universe kick off. So once she left, she made a lot of friends there, people who would inspire her for years to come, and she would draw these people in some of her shows, or have them drawn in shows as nods to them for being big inspirations in their life. Though Sugar did come back to write a few songs for Adventure Time, like the songs called Bad Little Boy, which was the episode where the main characters, Finn and Jake, everything in that world was gender swapped based on a story written by the Ice King in that show. Rule 63. for every universe has an opposite of that universe where everyone is gender swapped. But hey, if you're non-binary, your gender stays the same. Anyway, they also came back to just to write a song called Everything Stays, which I think is a really good song, and I will sing to myself randomly. Everything stays right where you left it. Everything stays, but some things still change. Everything stays. No, sorry. Let's go in the garden. Let's go in the garden. You'll find something waiting right there where you left it, lying upside down. That song. I'm not going to continue singing it, sadly. It's a good song about how many things change. And no, even if you don't touch it, even if you don't touch something, it will still change in some way. Whether it gets sun bleached, it gets dusty, dirty, or just dilapidated over time. Everything changes whether you see it or not. The world just changes. Now, there was also the movie from Steven Universe called Steven Universe, the movie, self-titled, where Rebecca Sugar wrote every single song in that movie within the span of 4 days. And Sugar did this because they didn't want to write the movie around the songs. They wanted to write the songs around the movie. There was only one exception to that, where a song called Change that Steven had sang near the end of the movie, that Rebecca was going to have him do a different action beforehand, but it didn't seem right after he was about, not have a different action, but a different, stream of consciousness per se, how he got his powers back. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen it, but it's been over a year. Not my fault. Not over a year, but it's been a more than half a year. Not my fault if you haven't seen it yet. He was going to get his powers back by remembering something else other than the fact that he had the power to change. So that was the only time in which where she changed part of the movie to fit the song. But other than that, she wrote all the songs after the script was finalized and everything, because she wanted to ensure that the songs fit perfectly to the movie, which is something that's really great. Now, you maybe have heard some of her other popular songs from the show. What was it? Made of Love, which became a huge hit. It was, and a few parodies of that song have been made for a game I said earlier, Undertale. People who can make music out of almost anything, any little thing. She made a tiny little song in the show called Jam Buds about the main character Steven and his best friend Connie sitting and eating jam and bread and crackers, but you also have friends who jam together. It's a quick little song that just makes me smile for the fact that it's something small, something simple. You could be a jam bud, someone who you play music with, or a jam bud is someone you maybe just eat jam and bread with. It was a fun little way to use the same, a different meaning for the same word. Now, I probably rambled a lot. These are two artists that mean a lot to me. Playing music is something that also means a lot to me as well. I am a violinist. I started playing when I was in elementary school. We all probably started playing an instrument when we were younger too. We were given that option, and some of us either picked something, changed it years later, stuck with what we picked, or dropped it altogether for whatever reason. You're still a musician. Your body remembers slightly about it. Maybe you're a little more rusty and it'll take some time for you to be able to do or play any of the songs you used to play, even if it's just hot cross buttons. being a musician doesn't mean you have to get critical acclaim and fame. Being a musician sometimes is just you tap on your desk a few times with a pair of drumsticks. You play the violin. You're learning the guitar, even if it's a triangle. Play music because it means something to you. Maybe you'll get famous, or maybe you'll just have a fun time. Either way, as long as you're doing what you enjoy, you can't be wrong for doing it. Music is a big part of all of our lives. Sometimes maybe we're doing covers of songs we enjoy. Maybe we're just listening to the radio. But next time you watch a movie or play a video game, really listen for the instruments in the background. Because there's a musician who spent hours making that for you to enjoy for those few minutes. I really do hope you enjoyed what I spoke about today and the artists in which I spoke about. If there's any other artists maybe you want me to cover or talk about, maybe leave a comment down below about it. I'll be back doing more videos. Maybe you'll get tired of my fabulous face, but I really hope you don't. I hope you come back next time for all the other different videos we have for you. Go check out some of my other friends and the things that they are creating for you. Go do some morning yoga with my go do some morning yoga. Make a craft. Do something with your day, because you got to be able to do what you can with what you got with where you are. Now have a safe day. I'm signing off.